Welcome back to the channel. We're going to do another Victory at Sea unboxing. So this is going to be the Kriegsmarine fleet. My friend Bill is letting me open this up to show you. This is the last of the four major starter fleets. By major, that's more my terminology than anything else. That's the US, the Japanese, the Royal Navy, and the Kriegsmarine. We still haven't done any of the Italians or the French. But over time, hopefully we'll get there. And I appreciate very much that Bill has let me open his Kriegsmarine and Royal Navy stuff to be able to show on the channel, because there's only so much that I can afford. But let's get into this. Let's see what's in the box. Now, the Kriegsmarine, I should start out by saying the Kriegsmarine, the German starter, is different than all the other starters in one major way. One, you get an extra ship. All of the other ones, I believe, have 8 ships in them. It's usually 3 destroyers, 3 cruisers, a battleship, and a carrier, aircraft carrier. This starter does not have an aircraft carrier in it, so it has an extra ship in it. I can't remember if it's an extra cruiser or how the breakdown works, but we'll see when we look at it. Most of the reason for that is the Kriegsmarine didn't have an active carrier throughout the war. They did have a carrier planned, and they had begun work on it. But as resources dwindled throughout the war, Hitler diverted all funds for the surface Kriegsmarine fleet to the U-boat fleet, which was having much more success than the surface fleet. So the surface fleet pretty much went without a budget for the last year or two of the war. But let's see what we got. Okay, we'll look at ships in a minute. Let's look at the cardboard. Looks like this was packed by Rodica. We've seen that name before. Thank you, Rodica. In here we have the cards. We will look at those after we look at the models. That's, as you know, the most important part to me. We're working with resin. Important if it's new to you. Damage sliders and our instruction sheet. So we can see that we get the Admiral Hipper, the Prince Eugen, Type 1936 class destroyer, Königsberg, Scharnhorst, Krone. Right, so let's look at some ship models. This would appear to be our destroyers. Oh, and our flights. Forgot that. We're going to get some flights in here. So let's just really quickly take a peek at the flights. I do know, pretty sure, I believe all the metal bits are going to be in the last bag. I think Bill looked at this a little bit beforehand, but that's fine. Okay, so these flights are actually a little bit different than other flights that I've opened and reviewed. This does not have... There we go. So this is a Ju-87 Stuka. Now this doesn't have a ring. So there's only one type. When there's only one type, they don't put a ring. They just mark it D. So I believe that's a dive bomber. So that's all that the Stuka can do. So that's a little bit different. And then here are the flights. Again, there are slight variations in all of the models. They try as much as possible to make the profile look like the actual plane, but they are very small. So we get 4 of those, and then we get our destroyer. Looks like it only has one additional piece, the bridge. And let's look at this one. Like most of these bags were packed by Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. So yes, I do believe that in the German, I think they're pretty much all different classes of ship, which is also unique. So this is an Admiral Hipper class cruiser. This is the Vulture. It's like bridge and 4 turrets for this one. Then we have Königsberg class cruiser, and it is the Königsberg. So this is unique in that the rear turrets are offset from each other. One is to the port side, the other one is to the starboard side, and I can't remember what the reasoning for that was, but they did balance them off from each other. Okay, so this is another Königsberg class cruiser. This is the Köln. So similar with the offset turrets. And our last 3 ships. These are going to be bigger. Along with all of the metal bits. All packed by Melissa. So this is the Scharnhorst. And it is the Scharnhorst class battleship. An excellent detail. They do a really good job with the molded detail. Usually the bridges are a little bit too much to handle, so that's why we have extra metal parts and the big turrets. But all the small turrets, they do a really good job with. Anti-aircraft. This one's actually really nice. They've got, the turrets aren't all pointing in the same direction, which is kind of cool. Then we have an Admiral Hipper class cruiser. This is the Admiral Hipper. Very nice. So was this cruiser also an Admiral Hipper? Okay, so we have 2 Admiral Hippers. And you can also see, so this is a Prince Eugen, and this is another Admiral Hipper class cruiser. Okay, so I think it's the British one that everything is different. So you can see destroyers are still in the dark resin. Everything else is in lighter resin. We have one battleship, 3 Admiral Hipper class cruisers, and 2 of the Königsberg class cruisers. So a much different layout, and then we have all of our metal bits. I'm not going to dump all of those out, but you can see those there. There's all kinds of extra little metal bits and flash that get out, and they tend to be a little bit on the sharp side. Alright, so let's make some room. Let's look at the cards. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Alright, so we have our Scharnhorst class battle cruiser. It is a cruiser, speed of 6, armor of 6 plus, hull of 74 and 24. It is aircraft 3, which is actually pretty decent for the beginning of the game and scouting. It's armored deck, radar, torpedo belt 3. Actually, the combination of the radar and the aircraft 3 are both quite helpful. Its main 3 turrets, all 11.1 inch, point blank of 11 inches, then 22, 33, and 45. Just remember that you can't shoot at moving targets past 30 inches, which is the horizon. So whenever this Scharnhorst gets to shoot, it is going to be shooting at short range if it can shoot at something over the horizon, which would be an emplacement or a ship at anchor. And if you have a spotting aircraft, you can shoot at those. But for just general run-of-the-mill shooting, it's always going to be at short range. So, actually, I'm sorry, it will be at long range. It'll be short range up to 22, and then the rest will be long. 3 attack dice, +1 to AP, 2 damage dice, light guns, 12, 5.9 inch, 6, 12, 18, and 25, 6 attack dice, -1 to AP, 1 damage dice. They are restricted and twin linked. Light guns of 14, 4.1 inch, 4, 9, 14, and 19, which is going to be 7 attack dice, -2 to AP, 1 damage dice. They are dual purpose, which is good for anti-aircraft, restricted and weak. So interestingly, these other light guns do not have the weak trait. So these light guns, the 5.9 inches, they can, cause criticals. A battery of local 1. And then let's see, so we have the Gneisenau and the Scharnhorst in the fleet. We have our refits, mostly related to AA. The Gneisenau does add torpedoes. These torpedoes for 60 points in 42, probably worth it. The Scharnhorst, so the Scharnhorst had some AA, but then had a projected 1944 refit, which was never completed due to the end of the war, which would have changed its guns. So this type of stuff you can play in game if you and your opponent choose to, but it's something that was never actually seen during the war. And we have the Admiral Hipper class heavy cruiser. These are 200 points. Just the Scharnhorst was 425. Admiral Hipper, it's a cruiser, flying speed of 6, armor of 3, hull of 36 and 12, aircraft 3, radar, and sub-hunter. So the combination of the radar and the aircraft 3 for all of these are going to be really good for scouting at the beginning. For the Germans, turrets, we have 4 turrets. They're all 2 8-inch. They are 9, 18, 27, and 37. 2 attack dice, 1 damage dice. No traits. There is a slight misprint on these where W got in there somehow, but no traits for any of those. Our light guns, 12, 4.1 inch, 4, 9, 14, 19. 6 attack dice, -2 to AP, 1 damage dice, dual purpose, restricted, and weak, a battery of local 1, and then we have some port and starboard torpedoes, relatively short ranges, 3 attack dice, 3 damage dice. They're devastating in one-shots, so the one-shots, use them once and they're gone. So we have 3 of the Admiral Hippers, and we have the Königsberg cruiser, 6, +2 to armor, hull of 15 and 5, so this is definitely a light cruiser. It's agile, so it can turn quite a bit. Aircraft 2, armored deck and sub hunter. So no radar on this. The main turrets are 3 5.9 inch, 7, 14, 21, 28. 2 attack dice, -1 to AP, 1 damage dice, and they are fast tracked. AA battery. So we do have some range on our AA battery for the light cruiser. This seems to be fairly common with light cruisers. They are able to help their fleet a little bit with their anti-aircraft. Also local 1. Then we have some port and starboard torpedoes, relatively short ranges. 3 and 3 for attack dice and damage dice, devastating in one-shots. 3 ships in the class, and mostly dealing with AA, except in 1941 the Köln actually removed a set of port and starboard torpedoes for -20 points. So I don't know, maybe if you're in need of some points, you can do that. Two of those, and then we have 3 of our destroyers. So let's see, this has some information up at the top. These are 60 points. The light guns, only 1 attack dice may be fired into the front and only 2 attack dice into the aft arcs. So that's a little bit different. Most light guns can fire everything into the front or the rear. And then for the other light guns, only 2 attack dice may be fired into the front and aft arcs. So a little bit different in terms of the light guns going fore and aft. Flank speed of 7, so it's fast. Armor of 1, hull of 7 and 2, radar and sub hunter. A lot of radar, which is helpful. Our light guns are 5, 11, 17, and 23. 3 attack dice, -1 to AP, 1 damage dice. Our AA battery is local 1. And then we have our port and starboard torpedoes. Ranges 4 attack dice, so a little bit more in the attack dice. 3 damage dice. They're devastating in one-shots. So there is only one type. There must be a different type of light gun on the back, I am guessing. Yes, down here. So there's a different light gun. And this one, so there's going to be an actual turret that we can add to some things. So the Z29 must be a Z29 is a very specific one of these destroyers, and there's only one of them. There's also a Z-25, Z-24, Z-28, but the Z-29 gets some changes to its guns, which would be interesting. I don't have a lot of time to look that up, but it looks like get a little bit better, slightly better, bigger guns. It does cost an extra 25 points, and I'm not sure on a destroyer if that's worth it or not. You know, the destroyers are all about their torpedoes usually. I'm not sure if changing out the guns is going to be worth it or not. But that's it. Again, thanks to Bill for letting me show this to everybody. We'll hopefully have some more battle reports coming up soon. I've just completed painting my US fleet, so I will be doing a video on that at some point in the future. But thank you very much for watching. Please give a like, thumbs up, and like and subscribe. Victory at Sea is a great game. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to paint. Doesn't have to be a difficult game to paint if you're worried about painting. It can be very simple if you would like it to be. It just depends on where you want to go with it. Or do you want to be historically accurate, or you just want something that looks decent on the table, and go for it. That's all that you need. You can have these painted in no time. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.